G'day and welcome to JoeJoeMoto. Here we are back in the shed working on the 200 motor. As we left it with the last episode, we were having an issue getting the bearing race in a race, I guess you'd call it, off of the bottom of the crank there. So I'm going to hand over to Reese, who's going to explain what happened to get it off.
So we had all sorts of troubles with it, as you saw, and left with the decision of it's going to have to go to a bike mechanic who has a special tool for it. So we hit up one of our mates, Turbo Yoda from Skid Factory, and he said, mate, I reckon I can do this. So hit him up, all good. Big thanks from Marty from Mighty Car Mods, who also did the helping out with it too. So they got a puller, so a 3-prong puller, ground 3 little grooves into the actual brace, and off it came. So they said it was quite real easy to do and stuff, but I guess it is when you get the right tools and do it properly. So yeah, huge thanks to Turbo Yoda and Marty, really helped out. So here we are, we're going to finish up and put him back on and keep going.
Yep. So we're going to be heating this guy up. We've got the crank in the freezer now, and we're going to be popping it on to the crank, and hopefully it can sit on there nicely and quite easily. And then we're going to start putting it back together. As I've said before, it's kind of like adult Lego. You just follow the manual and just slowly put things back together, carefully reading and making sure you're doing everything right and making sure it all sort of fits together. And yeah, so we're going to get started on that now. Doing the seals on the case, the outer cases here. Just it's easier when the shafts aren't through it, so we're just going to bust them out and put the new seals in where they've given us seals from the kit. Seals in, we've got everything cleaned up and oiled and ready to go, all the bearings. So now we're going to drop the crank in, and then the gearbox goes in after that. So see how we go. This is probably, you know, one of my least favourite parts is doing the gearbox, but it's all set in nicely. Everything's turning and moving like it should. Everything's fit into the shift drum back to where it should be, and everything turns really nicely like it should. No grinding, no silly noises, no nothing. Awesome. Alright, with things back together and whatever, we're ready to start putting the two engine cases together, and the center gasket actually calls for in the manual, like when I did my bike, which I think is quite interesting, to put a little tiny bit of grease on where the gasket meets the case, and then the same on the other side where the other side of the case meets the gasket. So yeah, we're just going to run a little bit of grease over all the mating surfaces and yeah, put it together. So we're live now. Hey, welcome Matt. We're live here. It's Jody's 200 engine. Starting to torque up the two case sides together. We just did a cool little Instagram live video. If you're not on my Instagram, at JoeJoeMoto, and Mr. Reese's Instagram is at
ADV with Mr. Reese.
Yep, so as you know, I always link it anyway with most of the Instagram stuff that I do. So yeah, check out our Instagrams for sure, because we're always doing cool stuff on there. But yeah, talking down the engine for hopefully the first and last time it needs doing. Should be good. Ah! I totally agree. I just held my thumb as well. It's so true. Don't make that noise.
Yeah, it's a bit too low. It's way further than flush. But all I have to do. Dickhead. Film this, man.
Well, that's all part of it, man. They film my stack, or you know, all of our stacks and things.
Yeah, but this is just some of the video.
No, we're all idiots. So we've had to split the cases again. It was fine because we had to do something different with the bolts anyway when we were talking about. But it's all good. We just driven one of the seals in a bit too far. Just careful with that gasket. Driven one of the seals in a bit too far, so we've got to split the cases again so we can knock the seal back to flush or even past flush, so we can just knock it in so it is flush. That's all good. It's only took a couple of seconds to get it all apart, and it's going to be a little bit easier to put it back together now that everything's there and ready to go. So I'll fix up the seal and be good to go again. Alright, we're back in action. We've got that seal pretty well placed now, so it's time to just smash this all back on really quickly. We're going to do the bolts properly with the grease and whatever. We might even put a little bit more grease on the mating surface, I think, just on that guy. So smash that back together real quick. It was nice and easy. Got to do all the bits that we needed to do. That seal's looking a whole lot nicer now. And now we're just putting in the stator and just checking out the wiring, so it needs a certain placement. Yeah, and we're just checking out where it goes to. We'll make sure we do the right one for the bike. Good though. Really getting there, loving it. Kickstarter assembly in there after doing all the shift stuff, and we're going to pre-tension the Kickstarter spring. It just says to pre-tension clockwise. We're assuming it just means once because I don't think you can do it more than once. Okay, Reese, 180 Newton meters, go. So with the primary gear on the end of the crankshaft here, it's asking for 180 Newton meters. and you know, we don't have any special tools to hold things. So what we've got is we've got oil filter remover on here, just like we did with the I guess it's the flywheel side of things. And this one's left-hand thread. We've got the big torque wrench, setting it up to 180, which seems very tight, but we'll give it a go. We'll get it as much as we can, and make sure we get it pretty close. So that's where we're going to leave it today. We've done a heap. I feel like we've done a really good innings on the bottom end here. So we're at the point now where we've got the primary drive gear, I think it's called, and that nut there requires 180 newton meters of left-hand thread torque, and you know, it's pretty tricky. Obviously, we're not getting enough on it. So Mr. Reese is going to take it back to his father-in-law's workshop and have a little play with it and make sure it's cranked down nice and tight. I mean, it's definitely really tight now. However, I'd love to see it just a little bit more on it. So yeah, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, notifications, all those sort of things. Give this video a big old thumbs up, and yeah, I guess we'll see you on the next one. Cool. It's always a good start to laugh, because then you're already like, ha 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 ha.
Yes, you know.
Alright, okay, you good? That was an awesome double thumbs up. Got a bit hairy there for a second, Reese.
Yeah, I freaked out a little bit.
You put it on an angle.
Man, I'm only wearing one thumb.
Just give you my footage and you can voice over.
Get on, girls!
Go, Eagles! And the battery is exhausted. Look, battery, so am I, mate. But hey, you know, sometimes. All right, we're updating. Let's start that again. All right, so the piston was the wrong size piston for the bore. So Reese is just filing down the piston a bit to make it fit inside the bore. Should be fine. Yeah. No, we're not really doing that. I'll update you in a minute, I think.
Grease the shaft ring of the shift shaft.
And action! No. Jeez! 911, what's your emergency?
Hit 91. In Australia, called 000.
Yeah, no, listen to me.
000.
Kid.
Oh, what are you doing, Dan? It's on you.
That's when I do that Barney burp one.